Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Overwatch 2 Invitational Tournament Reveal event. I am your host and friend, Simos Riegos, but you may know me as White Shadow. Now, we are approximately 1 month from Overwatch 2's release, which means that we are about a month away from our tournament, and I could not be any more excited for this tournament. This has been a passion project of sorts here at the Overwatch Scrim game series. It's been in development for months. We've had lots of things that we want to do with this tournament, and that's what I'm going to be doing here in this reveal event, for lack of a better name. I'm going to be giving you guys the rundown on almost everything about the tournament that I can disclose at this very moment. Now, you may remember that we actually posted a article in the news on our website where Nano Assassin gave you a quick rundown about what exactly this tournament was and how it was going to run. And while most of that information still holds true, there has obviously been some slight changes to what has been previously said in that article, and also many new things and information that we previously could not disclose, but now we can. So that is of course what I'm going to be doing in this reveal event. Now we can properly discuss what this whole tournament has in store for all of you. So the Overwatch 2 Invitational Tournament will be played on Overwatch 2, of course, now that the game has transitioned over to the Fated game. And with it, that means that we're going to be playing on all the new maps, all the new heroes, the balance patches, and the new game mode push. The tournament consists of 6 teams, playing for a total of 11 weeks in the regular season, and 15 weeks if you make it all the way up to the grand finals. Once the 11 weeks of the regular season are over, we will look at the league table. The top 4 will advance to the playoffs. The playoffs will be played as a single elimination bracket, so if you lose, you're out. Plenty self-explanatory, and there will be a third place match to determine the third place winner, so don't give up. Now, of course, there wouldn't be a tournament without teams, so here are our 6 teams that we have scouted. The teams are in alphabetical order: Absolute Zero, Athena's Fortune, Mirai Saints, Taddies, Team Nexus, and Team Unicorn. Now, these teams are going to be battling it out every week for the chance to declare the winner of the Overwatch 2 Invitational Tournament. Now, of course, everybody wants to know what's going on with the schedule, so we're moving straight into that part of the season. This tournament, of course, consists of a regular season and then a playoffs. The entire tournament is 15 weeks, technically 16, but for the amount of time that is actually dedicated to the tournament, it's actually 15 weeks. The season officially starts on Friday, 14th of October, in case any team wants to play their week 1 match early. The first half of the season, so weeks 1 through 5, officially kick off on the 17th of October later in that week, and will run all the way up until the 20th of November. During week 6, there will be a week off to rest and for our teams to practice new heroes or strategies. We did this in order to make sure that nobody is crunching, and especially for new strategies. You know, the Overwatch 2 is going to get updated, so of course we want teams to have the opportunity to get extra practice in case they don't have the chance to do so. So the second half of the regular season will pick up on Monday, November 26th, and will run all the way up until Sunday, January 1st, at the conclusion of week 11. Now, after the first initial 11 weeks of the regular season, there will be 2 weeks off in preparation for the playoffs. The top 4 teams that advance will then be playing in the single elimination bracket, which will start on the 16th of January and will run all the way up until January 29th. And the very last week, the 16th week, which is a technicality, will be more for us to use for our awards. Now, this schedule, of course, is available right now in all of the corresponding areas, both on the server as a PDF, on the Overwatch Scrim game website, and on challenge.com. It's always available right there. Now, if you want to know the fastest results, probably head over to challenge.com. I know a lot of people are familiar with Challenge through CGL. They have used that program as well, and I encourage everyone to do so for this too. It's just easier for everyone. It has instant results. As well for the standing updating. Now, the standings that are on challenge are going to be a little different from what we do, because on challenge, you of course have to factor in the map differential as long as our point system that we're going to be using for our tournament. So use the challenge standings simply for wins to losses, and we'll keep you updated on the website as for everything else. But the schedule is of course available right now, like I said, and you can download the PDF from the Discord and the website, so be sure to check those out if given the chance. So now that we've discussed how the tournament will run, now we need to discuss how every match will run. Of course, now with Overwatch 2, we no longer have to deal with 2CP and all of its shenanigans, so now we will be using, of course, the new push game mode. So the order of the map set for a series is going to be Control, Hybrid, Escort, Push, and Control again for map 5s. But in case you don't know any of these new game modes that are going to be playing, allow me to give you a quick tour of just what they are. Overwatch has a lot of unique maps, each with its own style and location across the globe. Because of this, not every map is the same. Here's your guide to how each map type plays.
Welcome to Lijiang Tower. This is Control. Two teams fight head-to-head for control of a common objective located in the middle of the map. To capture the objective, your team must stand within its range for a set amount of time. Capture percentage is continually given to whichever team is in control. The enemy will fight to clear your team off and capture the objective for themselves. Losing control will pause your progress. Now your opponent gains capture percentage. If both teams are on the objective when one of them reaches 99% capture, the game enters overtime. This extends play indefinitely until one of the teams is cleared off. The round ends when either team achieves 100% capture. Each round is played on one of the map's 3 unique areas. Control is best of 3, so whichever team captures 2 objectives wins. Welcome to Eichenwald. This is Hybrid. 2 teams face off as either defenders or attackers. The attacking team has a limited amount of time to first capture a payload and then escort it along a set path containing 2 checkpoints. To capture the payload, the attackers need to stand within its range for a set amount of time. Defenders can delay capture progress by also standing in range. The attackers must work together to clear away the defenders. If successful, they score 1 point and gain additional time on the clock. The payload only moves forward when an attacker stands near it. Defenders can delay the payload's movement by standing nearby. To get moving again, the attackers must clear away the defenders by force. If even one attacker is capturing the objective or on the payload when the time runs out, the game enters overtime. This extends play indefinitely until the attackers are either cleared away or they gain more time by reaching a checkpoint. Every time the payload reaches a checkpoint, the attackers score 1 point and gain additional time on the clock. The round ends when the payload reaches the destination or when time runs out. Teams switch sides each round. Whichever team scores the most points and escorts the payload farthest wins. Welcome to Watchpoint Gibraltar. This is Escort. 2 teams face off as either defenders or attackers. This is the payload. The attacking team has a limited amount of time to escort the payload along a set path containing 3 checkpoints. The payload only moves forward when an attacker stands near it. Defenders can delay the payload's movement by standing nearby at the same time. To get moving again, attackers must clear away the defenders by force. Every time the payload reaches a checkpoint, the attackers score 1 point and gain additional time on the clock. If even one attacker is near the payload when the clock runs out, the game enters overtime. This extends play indefinitely until the attackers are either cleared off the payload or they gain more time by reaching a checkpoint. The round ends when the payload reaches the destination or when time runs out. Teams switch sides each round. Whichever team scores the most points and escorts the payload farthest wins.
New to Overwatch 2 is Push. Two teams fight head-to-head for control of a common objective located in the middle of the map. This is TS1. After 30 seconds, if a team is in close proximity to TS1 with no other members of the opposite team close by, TS1 will start moving toward the enemy spawn. When the robot starts moving, it starts walking a distance before a checkpoint, where it then starts to push a barricade and thus progresses more slowly. If the leading team loses control of TS1, the other team can start advancing in the opposite direction and towards their team's barricade. Players have 8 minutes to push their team's barricade to the end of the road towards the enemy spawn and win. If neither team's barricade reaches its end goal in time, then the team who pushed the barricade the farthest distance and has control of TS1 wins. If control of the robot is contested, or the team who currently has control of TS1 does not have the farthest distance, the game enters overtime. This extends play indefinitely until the team with TS1 loses control of it, or when the team with control of TS1 pushes their barricade to a distance exceeding their opposition. Push is only one round, so make every team fight count. And of course, we're gonna need a map pool. So, there will be 3 different map pools for this tournament. One for the first half of the regular season, another for the second half, and then one for the playoffs. Now currently we only have the map pool for the first half of the season. The other 2 map pools will be released at a later time as those parts of the tournament are played. So in the meantime, here is the map pool for the first half of the regular season. For Control, we have Lijiang Tower, Oasis, and Busan. For Hybrid, we have Kings Row, Noombani, and Hollywood. For Escort, we have Havana, Dorado, and Circuit Royale. And for Push, we have New Queen Street, Colosseo, and Portugal. Now as you can see, there are of course 3 maps per game mode. We want to keep things like that. We want to have each game mode to have the same amount of maps in the map pool at one time. And how this is going to work is that once a map is in the map pool, it cannot be in the map pool again until all other maps have been put in circulation. So that ensures that one map will never be in a map pool twice in a row. So of course, during a match, the first map will be predetermined for all the matches, and then we will use the same system for the Overwatch League Contenders, where the loser picks the next map. Now one thing to keep in mind is that we're not going to be changing sides during the match. The side for each team has been predetermined on the schedule. You can see that you have your home and away side. Home is going to be on the left side of the replay screen, and then away on the right. This is so that home is always defending and away is attacking, of course, on the objective game modes, because of course on Control and Push, both teams are attacking, but you see what I'm saying. So because of that, we are not going to be swapping sides. We're only going to be deciding the maps based on who loses the previous one. Now speaking of Team UI, we need to discuss our VOD production system, which of course is the way that we are going to be going with our production side of things. We have a VOD system instead of a stream system. Now the reason why we have this is because, first of all, I currently am the one who's in charge of that field and area, and I do not have the resources to properly stream games. For example, in order to do that, you would have to have, first of all, a good internet connection. You'd also need a good PC, and you would need to be able to do everything of the production all at once on a live stream, and that is not possible for me. I have always done VODs, and I prefer them simply because, you know, I can give the kind of flair that I want to all of the VODs, and you know, I've always liked that. I like the flexibility that that gives me, because that way I don't have to worry about it as much as if it were a live stream. So because of that, we will be using replay codes, And that does mean that with the danger that are the replay codes, we need teams to report their replay codes in order for us to make the VODs. Now, I will trust that each team does this in a neatly fashion. There will be an area in the Discord server, maybe we'll make a form for it, where teams can post their replay codes and I simply go in, import them, record them, and then make the VODs. The aim is to have them recorded at least so that they don't get lost with patches. Now, another thing about the VODs is that I can also ensure a better quality for the VODs. Now, in case you have never ever seen any of my VODs, which I don't blame you, there's the playlist on my channel about our friend group scrims, so you can go see that. Of course, now with the updates in not only my technology at my disposal, but also my skills in graphic design, most of what's there is outdated, specifically the actual graphics being used. So at first, back when I was new to all of this, I of course only used things that I got off the internet. But then I actually learned how to do more graphic design things. And so I decided to be inspired by the Overwatch World Cup, and I really liked their style. I liked how it looked, and so I ran that for like 3 scrims, I believe. And now that I thought actually that I could carry those over into Overwatch 2, but then I realized that that would not be possible, simply for 2 reasons. Now, one is that Overwatch 2 is 5v5. So most of the graphics that I have were for 6v6, and I did not want to rework them because that would impact the quality. So I couldn't use them. And because I couldn't use them, that leads to the second problem, which means that they would of course be all out of style. You know, you'd have 2 different styles of graphics, and I don't like that. So I decided to completely scrap the Overwatch World Cup graphics, and I instead looked into some Overwatch League and Overwatch Contenders. And I can say confidently that our whole thing with graphics is squares, because that is the era that I went into. I looked specifically at the 2019 season of the Overwatch League, and also some graphics from the current A side and B sides of the summer series for Overwatch Contenders, and that is where I got the inspiration for the graphics that I'm using for this tournament. So of course I prepared a little demonstration for everything that I'm going to be utilizing here, starting of course with the HUD. Now the actual team HUD that you'll be seeing is of course the one from Contenders, so it's been resized for 5v5, and it's very different from an early concept that was on the old article. It is no longer the 6v6 slanted one, since we're moving to squares in order to keep the style consistent, and that is basically the same one that the Overwatch League uses. It's a little different, but I prefer the Contenders one only because of the reason that I prefer its layout better, because I can now utilize the palettes of these teams in a more efficient way. So of course I'm going to be doing that. Now for these concept images that I'm showing you, it is on 6v6 Overwatch 1, but if we were to simply put them in any Contenders or Overwatch League match, you could see that they should line up for Overwatch 2 standards. Now of course there's also the little indicator on top of the game mode HUD where you can see what map we are in out of how many, and of course you'll be able to see the score for everyone. Now there's also the different graphics for the map series, for what map we are currently on, the information about that map, and of course graphics for the score, for substitutions in case they happen, and all things like that. I first primarily focused on getting the graphics that we really needed. So for example, things like the team roster graphic, like the maps and everything. It's all there. What I like to consider the flare type graphics are for later. Now another thing that I wanted to implement that I got inspired from the Overwatch League and Overwatch Contenders is mid-map. You know, you don't want to just be looking at a static screen. So, thanks to some cheeky thinking from your boy right here, I managed to get footage from the pan shots that the Overwatch League Contenders use for mid-maps. So I am utilizing those in order to just have something nice to look at in between maps. Or for those who simply use the bathroom, maybe it's there for when you come back. But it is there. And of course, I am thinking about implementing other graphics such as player stats mid-match and even post-match, since currently that is not a thing that I have ready, but I am in the process of working on it. So this has been this whole exhibition that I've come here. I'm geeking out about graphics because I really do like them. One thing that I will guarantee though is that I will make your team look amazing. I don't want to give myself too much credit, but I do know how to make some good graphics. So I'm always going to be ready with some graphics. Now, it can't all just be graphics, it has to be production-wise as well. I will guarantee that we will be at 1080p 60 frames per second. It may not be true 60 frames per second because of YouTube compression rate, but that's the goal. Another thing is the music side. I am also geeking out about music now. You can't really have a good VOD production without a good musical soundtrack. Now, the Overwatch esports scene really is weird in that regard. Most of the music in the Overwatch League you can't really repost without getting absolutely flamed by Blizzard, which really makes no sense, since especially most of the music in Season 4 and Season 5 currently aren't even owned by Blizzard themselves. But regardless, they still find a way to take them down. Like, for example, you may not know who this guy is, but a channel by the name of DabG25 was the person or channel which I went to in order to look at all the soundtracks for the music used in Overwatch League and Contenders. And his channel was the one where I received all, and I used his channel to get the Overwatch League remixes of the map themes that they were using last season. And I was hoping that he actually would finish that series, because he never did. He was actually struck down by copyright reasons by Blizzard. So fortunately, I did manage to download some of them while they were still uploaded, and I have used them in certain scrims. You can actually see those right now. Specifically, the most latest scrims, and I think scrim number 8, have the remixes were applicable. Now, before his channel did get taken down because of copyright, I did manage to find them on Bilibili, which, if you don't know what that site is, it's basically a Chinese YouTube. Now, because YouTube is going to come after me if I post a link of where I found this in the description, I'm going to give you guys a hint and actually point you guys in the direction as to where it is that I got them. So, you can just follow that and it'll be right there. Now, unfortunately, you will need to know a little bit of Chinese in order to understand it, but what I'm trying to say here is that I managed to find almost all the previous music that I thought I had lost. You have music from seasons 2 all the way to 4 of the Overwatch League, and the previous 2 seasons of Contenders. So we are safe in that regard. You have background music, you have a lot of it. The problem is that most of it isn't actually owned by Blizzard. Most of it was licensed off from small creators. So I have been also in the process of testing what we can and what we cannot use. So don't worry, we've got cat jams ready for you guys. And also, of course, because of Overwatch League Season 5, the Overwatch League has been releasing their lo-fi mixes on YouTube, so we can also try to see if we can use that music. And even more recently, Overwatch Contenders released their soundtracks for Summer Series A and B sides, so I'll also look into that. So we have plenty of cat jams ready, and one thing that I'm excited to try to introduce now is that, seeing as how most of the music is licensed anyway, I can go ahead and go into my bank of obscure video game music that no one will get, but that actually fits for the maps. I have lots of concepts that I have lots of music that I feel like fits or is on the same note as the maps in Overwatch, so I hope you guys get to see them, or should I say hear them. Of course, I will also be trying to implement a little graphic which displays the music that is currently playing, so that in case you want to know where that music is and want to check it out, and other things like that piece of music, you can of course go and search it up for yourself. That's all to say that I am really geeking out right now about VOD production. I'm really passionate about all of this. All I'm asking is patience. It does, because of the way that this works, because I'm not live streaming this, that means I am editing this all in one go. Now, the way that this is going to work is that there will be a match day VOD that will be premiered, so it's like the environment of a live stream, but not quite, because of course it's pre-recorded, and that will feature all the games of that day all in one large video. But because of that, if you are someone who was late and doesn't want to go and watch all of that, however long it may be, I will be posting individual match videos / VODs for anyone to go and see. Of course, we will have to be careful with spoilers, so I encourage no one to spoil anybody else, just in case they've missed a match and are really curious to see the outcome of. But again, in order to ensure the high quality of these, I do ask for a little bit of patience. I am currently in school still. I have to deal with a lot of IB classes, so I will have to balance that out. It usually takes about a week to make a VOD, simply because of the amount of editing that is involved. Now, I have made the process a little shorter. I've actually grouped up all of my music, all my graphics, and all my recordings into separate sections so that I can just take them out as I go. But it is still a very long process, seeing as how we may have up to 3 different games in a single week. So I just ask for patience in order for these high quality VODs to come out, and we should be good with that. Like I was saying earlier, we do have many awards up for grabs. Not anything too special, of course. It's obviously going to be your things like your season MVP, your playoffs MVP, first through fourth team placing, and sportsmanship awards. Now, currently, we're not really sure if all of our award ideas will come to fruition, but just because that doesn't happen doesn't mean you shouldn't try to get one. Of course, like I mentioned, we'll be monitoring everybody over the course of the tournament, and they will be handed out in that technical last week, the 16th week, after the entire tournament is over. Now, into that, we also have one of those is the Community Predictions Award, which is of course part of our community predictions that is currently in beta. You may notice already on the Discord server we have an area for predictions, and it is something that we want to have in our tournament. Of course, it works just like the Overwatch Leagues, where if you predict the outcome of a game, you get 1 point, and for the exact score, you get 2 points. And the way that it works is that at the end of the tournament, whoever will look at the leaderboard, because the idea is to have a leaderboard, and the top 5 in that leaderboard will be given a special role in the Discord server known as scriptwriter. Now, it is in beta. I need to stress that it is in beta. We're not really sure if we haven't found a program yet to actually incorporate those predictions. Challenge does feature a predictions area, but that is only for the playoffs, and we don't just want to have predictions for the playoffs, we also want to have it for the regular season. So if you have any programs that we can check out, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm still trying to find one myself, and we are currently still working on that. So we hope that it does come, but just in case it doesn't, I am saying that it is a beta. Now, one thing that I will need help for in terms of the VODs is casters. We are in need of casters. Now, the way that this works, all we really need you to do is to have a good mic. We need more of these casters because although I would consider myself to be a pretty good caster, I do understand that it would be boring to listen to my voice for every single match. So I am offering the opportunity for members of our community to offer themselves to be casters for matches. The way this will work is that because of our limited numbers, casters will be casting solo. It will be pre-recorded, so don't worry about takes and everything. You can do as many as you would like, or if you feel like you can do it all in one take, go for it. I am not judging anyone. All I'm All I need to know is who is down to cast. There is a Google form that has been posted in the server. I will put it in the description of this video, and anyone who is interested can of course go and apply. We need to know your region, we need to know what times you're available for casting, and of course if you have a good mic. This is all so that we can then sort out all the specifics. I really hope that we do get some more casters, because I do not want to blow my voice casting every single game, but I understand that if I have to, I will. And that is basically all that I have to say at this moment about the tournament. The excitement really has been accumulating for me. I did not really think I would be at this level with the Overwatch Scrim Game series. I didn't think we'd get this far, if I'm being honest with you. This has been an absolute dream come true, and because of that, I must express that we are still relatively new to all of this. We are just barely starting as a major organization. Our numbers are quite low. We are literally a 3-person team, but we are open for more people. But we are really new and fresh to this whole thing, so of course much needed patience with all of these things as we get them sorted out. But in the meantime, be sure to stay tuned to all the Overwatch Scrim Game series socials to never miss any kind of news, and when the tournament starts, not a single moment of action. So that is of course going to be subscribing to the Overwatch Scrim Game series YouTube channel, joining the Overwatch Scrim Game series Discord server, visit our website, interact with people in the community, and of course follow the tournament on chellorange.com. Hopefully you guys are just as excited as we are about this upcoming tournament. We hope to have lots of good games, lots of good Overwatch being played, but that's all I have for you guys, so we'll see you in October.
We all come from different places, different regions, different nations, all sharing the same goal: to be the best of the best. The game that we all know is now moving to different horizons. Where will you be when that change comes?
Believe you could be so much more, made for the moment in the era I forged, live from the minutes where the legends are born, and the myths are forever when they pen our lore. I hear every echo inside of the roar clear. I feel all the hopes inside of the same fear. The shadows that faded out all the lights in the same years when they tell us that it's gone, but yo, I'm still here. Run it back, quarter on one cab, when 99 seconds is everything y'all have. Prove yourself worthy, I live in the impact. As soon as I push forward and tell them to hold that, roll back. I don't see any limit, they're lacking the vision and asking why the hell I would risk it. I'm basically different, I'm everything they say that I isn't. The arcade era live in my spirit. Don't tell me to move on, soon as all the pressure gets too strong. Feel like I was born here for something to prove wrong. When was that moment when you felt that sound? I heard the crowd shake ground, screaming one more round. Let the lights flash over the main stage, I'm still brave, battling the giants, the skill made, the will fate. Test that choice, ignite the fire of a brand new age when they hear my voice.
Evolve till I'm more than what they ask of me, till I fly in ways you can't believe, through a sky I know, on a blue horizon, in a dream I hope. My hands keep shaking, but my heart keeps strong, though my legs keep aching, my voice keeps on, my soul keeps rising as I sing my song. I can hold my own till those clouds move on.
The journey will not be easy. It will test your strength and resolve, but it will all be worth it to become a champion.
Till I'm more than what they ask of me, till I fly in ways you can't believe, through a sky I know, on a blue horizon, in a dream I
So prepare for battle. Prepare to bring your opponents into the ground. But most importantly, prepare to evolve.